Before we get too far into the videos in this set, it may be worth asking the question, what in fact is a slide style? Well, in its most basic sense, it's a template of all the presentation effects that are applied to an image or maybe even a group of images. It can be simple, and one or two of these simple ones are included with Pictures2Xe, or they could be highly complex. Now, the presentation effects we're referring to here are those we see in the objects and animation screen. Looking up on the right of the objects and animation screen into the animation tab, what I'm referring to is the pan, of course, zoom, rotate, the 3D animation options, center, framing, opacity, blur, and also color correction. But we can extend this to the options that we see in the Properties tab too. For example, cropping, borders, shadows, and others. Any presentation effect that we can dream up, including complex animation if you wish, can be saved as a style and used again. But there's more. We can apply the slide style that we've created to any other images in any future projects, either to just one image, a couple of images, or 100, and we can do it instantly. We can also include backgrounds and other artwork into a slide style. So the artwork, or the background, lives with the style, but this can be applied to new images, and we're going to be doing this in a later video. We can also make a slide style using multiple images, and in fact we're going to be doing that too in a later video. We can export the styles we create so that other users of Pictures2Xe can make use of them, and in return we can import theirs into our own projects. One of the options that I particularly like is that we can take a ready-made slide style, let's assume it's something we've made ourselves, but it could be someone else's too. We can then tweak that style just a little bit and then save it with another name to suit the project we're working on. So it's very easy to create a set of styles, maybe similar in technique, but with subtle differences. I'm thinking of some animation that may appear from the left and then from the right, from the top, from the bottom left corner. You can see what I've got in mind. There are a number of slide styles built into Pictures2Xe, and I've got the peacock thumbnail selected, and I'm going to click the slide styles button, and we can see straight away up here, if we select one of the styles, we do get quite a nice little representation of what's going to happen in the thumbnail. So when we do select a slide style, and here I've selected the borders and border pan down, we can look at the thumbnail and instantly see exactly what that's going to apply to our image. One thing we do have to remember with slide styles is that the slide style also includes the slide time. That is what we discussed in our preferences and settings demo. So if a slide style is added to an image that is already carefully synchronized with music, you just need to be aware of this, so the application of that slide style will not adversely affect the show you're working on. You'll notice here too that with some of the options that come with Pictures2Xe, there are some variables to what you select. Here we can adjust the border of this image, and we can adjust the size of the image within the background that you can see here, and even that is adjustable too. Now let me give you a little demonstration of a slide style and the impact that the slide time may have, and I'm going to import one that I made for my camera club. I'm going to go to my slide styles here, tools. I'm going to choose to import a style. I brought it from another computer on a USB stick. There it is. I'll select that. And I've got it in a category called Noosa, and straight away you can see the sort of thing that it does. It creates a background from the image itself, presents the image with some animation, and there's even a bit of text there because when I apply this I need to put the author's name and the title of the image. But you'll also notice that the full duration here is 16 seconds. So let me just close that for a minute and we'll come back up here and we'll select this image and we'll apply it, double click. If I put my cursor just before and press play, we can watch what it does. It's designed to open up on screen to present the image. Then after a couple of seconds the author's name and the title of the image appears. That then fades out, the image folds down and the next one would appear in its place. Now of course I could go to my slide time, highlight it on the bottom right corner, and I could reduce it back to the default 7 seconds. Now when I put my cursor here, it's not going to impact greatly on the animation that I've created. But of course it's going to take away all of the viewing time, so as soon as the image appears on screen, it disappears almost as quickly. So you can see that the slide style that I applied here, we could probably bring down the slide time from 16 to 14 seconds, maybe at a real push a little bit more than that, but not too much because it's then going to start impacting on the animation within the show. To remove a slide style, select the image or the batch of images that you want to remove the style from. Go back to the slide style, into the basics, and choose no style. If we're going to add slide styles to multiple images, those images need to be consecutive images in the slide list or the timeline. We're currently in the slide list here, and the timeline I'm sure you've seen. Let me demonstrate that by selecting the first of these images, going to the last, holding the shift and clicking on the last, so I've got all of those slides selected. So here I've got, not sure how many I've got, 10 or so, but we could have 100. I'm going to go to the slide styles, we'll go to the borders, we'll choose border pan left, and we'll apply that. And you'll see it instantly applied to every single one of those images. Just for the moment, while they're still selected, I'm going to go back and remove it. Because supposing we were working on a slideshow and we thought, well, this one would be nice to add that slide style to, then I hold the control key and select this one and this one because they're of similar colours in some related way. They're all sort of warm tones. Look what happens if I just select those three and apply the same style. In fact, it doesn't matter what style I use. Let's use this one. It alters the location of those slides, and if we've already taken care to put our images in the order we want them to be seen in the slideshow, then of course we need to avoid this. So in this instance, I'll hit Ctrl Z here and it'll undo that. So in this instance, if I did want the same style on all three of those, and they are separated between other images, I'm going to have to apply the style individually. But nevertheless, it doesn't take very long to do. We can even make slide styles with text. So for a project that I create each month for my camera club, I have all my opening titles and end credits pre-programmed. All I need to do is to select a blank and apply the slide style. Maybe adjust the text just a little bit, but that's pretty quick and simple. Let me demonstrate what I mean. I've made a very simple one, but if we move to the end here, I'm going to click into the end of my slideshow, hit Alt S to create a blank. Go to my slide styles. I have made one in a category called text, just called it end credit. It's very simple, but of course we can include animation and many other effects if we wish. I can double click that. Let's just assume for the moment that the name was wrong this month. Well, with the slide selected, if I go to the Objects and Animation screen and the Properties tab, it wouldn't be too difficult to change the name if it was appropriate to do so. So a slide style is a template of all the presentation effects we've applied to that image or a number of images. So whenever we create any animation or any presentation effects, it makes sense to make a slide style of them, even if we only keep that for a little while. For many users of Pictures2Xe, I've heard people say that, well, my slideshows are all unique. I don't want to use the same effects I've used in one in another. But we all tend to do that to some degree, and even if we create a slide style that we don't want to use in the next slideshow, then once we've got the style created, it's very quick and easy to just adjust that one to make something different. So with slide styles we can keep them extremely simple if we wish. We could program a slide style which places a thin line around the outer edge of each of these images and does nothing else at all, or we could create a multi-image 3D animation with 9 images, and that could be applied instantly. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to do in a later video.